Ladies and gentlemen, it's my pleasure today to bring you one of the very possible answers for very important question and problem which basically every security expert, every security manager, risk manager, head of IT, head of security should ask yourself. What do you think is that essential and basic problem or question you have? Last time I did this presentation, it was much smaller hall, so people were closer to me and they were answering me. To make a better life, to be more happy, to make my family more happy, to make my manager, my company owner more satisfied with my work. And this all is related into your essential job duty, and it is to make your corporate network and the corporate assets safe. So I hope that I will bring you one of the answers for this essential problem, because there is dozens of security standards and best practices which describes hundreds and thousands of security controls. And every one of you, every security expert, every security manager has a basic problem to identify what controls out of that big family and library of the best practice approaches and best practice controls, which one of them will help me the most, will be the most efficient ones to actively prevent my network against cyber attacks, to prevent my company assets from data leakage, from loss of confidentiality, integrity, availability, of course. So the good situation is that you are not alone. Everybody else in the industry is asking the same question. And make a guess, which company in the world or which institution, which organization in the world is nowadays the mostly often under cyber attack? It is US federal agencies. US federal government institutions, including Ministry of Defense, US Army, NSA, US Air Force, and so on. Last week, there was a big security conference in Las Vegas where a member of Department of Security of US federal government was presenting how massively US government institutions are under cyber attacks. They are facing to hundreds of cyber attacks every day. So they are the right guys to ask for further advice. So in 2008, these US federal security managers were asking the community and the security experts, please give me the short list, please give me the priorities, what are the most essential security controls which we should implement to really be protected from cyber attacks. There was 50 institutions in the first committee which were building this critical control list. SANS and MITRE organizations were involved as well. And they came up with the surprise, with the short list of 20 critical controls, which then they shared with the 500 biggest commercial companies in the world. I mean the IT managers, the risk managers, the security officers of the 500 biggest institutions and global companies in the world. And they all agreed on the short list of 20 critical security controls which has the highest effect on mitigating and actively defending your corporate networks from the cyber attacks. When they were putting down this list, they were following several main approaches. And one of the main approach which they agreed was that offense, the attack itself, must educate the defense. You know, theory is a nice way, nice resource. All the international security frameworks and standards has a lot of controls categorized and so on. But these security officers were really asking what really works, what really in the real life will protect my network from the cyber threats and cyber attacks. And they were learning from the actual ongoing attacks against the US federal institutions, against the global companies like Microsoft, Coca-Cola, international banks, and so on. The other approach is the prioritization. This is the key element in the decision-making process. IT is spread into hundreds and thousands and 10,000s of devices, applications. You need to prioritize your security focus, and also the security controls and security functions which you have in the portfolio in your hands. You also must prioritize and really focus step by step on the highest priorities. First, middle priorities, next, and low priorities, maybe never. Automation and continuous approach to the security controls is necessary nowadays, because you have heard how many new malware is detected every day. If you are looking into vulnerability database, the number of new vulnerabilities discovered in all IT products, no matter if it is hardware box, operating system, or some Java engine, the number of vulnerabilities exponentially grows. Every year is more and more new vulnerabilities discovered than the year before. So you need automation to make the approach really over the entire infrastructure, and you need continuous approach. So this is the answer to that essential problem, to that basic question which every security expert is asking. And this is quite shocking list of the priority controls. If you look on the top 5, top 10, out of those top 20, which have been selected as the most critical controls, those which really works the best, you will not find firewalls. You will find antivirus protection, yes, within top 5, yes, but not on the first place. Where are security controls like data leakage protection, unified threat management, penetration testing, which is a very famous topic, especially in financial institutions? They do not work as efficiently as those very high and high controls which were identified and agreed by the security community in the world. So I have a good information for those of you who already implemented Qualys technology, because you have done your homework and you can now sit back, relax, and enjoy the rest of the presentation. Qualys technology was implemented in the major part of Fortune 100 biggest companies in the world. We have more than 6,500 customers in the world, and these customers are doing daily, weekly scanning in amount of 1 billion IP scans per year right now. So if we look on those very high controls and the high controls, which has the highest priority in the efficiency of cyber attack mitigation, we will look on which Qualys Guard security services are actually supporting implementation of those top 5, top 7 controls. And I will explain you why those controls were selected. So Qualys Guard is a suite of integrated security and compliance services. You can scale each service individually against a number of systems and applications you need to scan and analyze for the vulnerabilities, configuration, and so on. And if we will go into the top 7 most critical controls, surprisingly, as I said, there is no firewall, there is no malware protection. There is a very simple process and very simple control which should be in place in every organization, no matter on size. And it is inventory of authorized and non-authorized devices. When you will read this document, you will understand why this was selected as the most critical control from all available security controls and best practices. Simply, unknown device and non-approved, non-authorized device is something what is running somewhere in your network. It doesn't have probably assigned owner. It doesn't have assigned administrator. It means it is not patched. It is not updated. It is probably misconfigured. And misconfiguration and vulnerability is the most common access vector for majority of the attacks. So you really need to know what is running in your network, and you need to approve and authorize. These systems belongs to me, this system belongs to third party, this is responsibility of this administrator, of this department, and you must somehow track if they are really on duty and updating and managing those assets. You know, you can say in small and medium-sized enterprises, you are running hundreds or few thousands of systems on your network. You know where your systems are. I can tell you, I am implementing Qualys Guard for 8-9 years so far. In every organization where we did network discovery scans and the network mapping, first time, we always discovered unknown devices where IT operation team had no clue what's going on and what is running there. We have a customer in Prague. It is an international company which has a data center in Prague serving for the whole EMEA region. These guys are managing 10,000 servers in the data center. I have no idea what those servers are doing. 10,000 servers. And those administrators and IT operation team also doesn't know what every server does. And they also discovered unknown servers which are running, or unknown services and protocols which are open, and they don't know why. They don't have any owner. They don't have any business process related to that. It means it is not patched. It is not maintained. So that's the reason why the authorized and unauthorized devices inventory and the process to map them, discover them, categorize them is the most essential security control. And absolutely the same story goes with the inventory of unauthorized and authorized applications. So 10,000 servers will probably run something about 100,000 applications, including operating system, Java engine, and so on. So again, each software product has vulnerabilities. Each software product can be misconfigured. So first of all, before you will put firewalls in place and will start to put the layers of protections around your assets, first of all, you should know where all your assets are, who is responsible for them, and if they are maintained and updated and securely configured. So Qualys Guard Vulnerability Management will help you in automated and periodic asset discovery. It will discover all the hardware devices, live IPs on the network, and it will also discover all the applications which are running on those devices. It will also discover all the open ports. It will verify the protocols which are behind the ports. And this goes all automatically, and it can go very flat. We have customers which are scanning on a weekly basis hundreds of thousands of devices. Companies like Deutsche Telekom, Daimler, Societe Generale, Microsoft is the biggest corporate customer of Qualys. 2 million IPs on the automated scanning. So it is possible. You can manage that from one place. So vulnerability management will discover what applications and ports and services are running on each device on your network. It will give you the inventory, it will give you the search engine, and it will give you the possibility to write policies, configuration policies. What applications are mandatory to be installed? That's the application whitelisting, kind of, or at least the configuration checklist. What are the mandatory applications for specific platforms? And you can have controls which will say what applications cannot run, are not authorized, cannot be installed on your network. And you can just select them from the very long list of all the applications which Qualys has in the library. And you know which software is approved, which you purchased. And the rest should be unauthorized. So you can make those configuration checklists, and you can have a software which will automatically, weekly, monthly, audit configuration of thousands of servers, thousands of desktops, giving you the feedback on which IP is only authorized software, on which IP is some unauthorized software, and which one and where. On the third place of the critical controls is a secure configuration of the servers, active network devices, server applications, and databases. Yeah. Misconfiguration has been found as the most common access vector for the malware and for the cyber attacks. Surprise also for Qualys, because we always believe that the vulnerabilities which exist in the environment are mostly common access vector, but based on the community of these companies and organizations which pull down those list of 20 critical controls, misconfiguration is even on the higher priority than vulnerabilities and patching the vulnerabilities. So again, you can have a software which will automatically audit configuration of your specific platforms on some routine periodicity, weekly, monthly, bi-weekly, and giving you the reports, giving you possibility to filter. Show me only systems which has some misconfiguration with the detailed description how to implement that missing control in the IX, HP Unix, Linux, Windows, Oracle database, or Cisco iOS. You have out-of-the-box policies and CIS platform-based benchmarks, so you can benchmark configuration of your systems against some best practice configuration standards. And this will not harm your systems, because it will just read the configuration, store the configuration in time, and compare your actual configuration with your internal policy or with some third-party external best practice. On the fourth position of the most critical controls is the vulnerability assessment and vulnerability remediation. We call it vulnerability management process, because vulnerability on the system belongs to the most commonly used access vectors for the automated malware, for the automated cyber threats, for the manual hackers, also for the penetration testers, white-hat guys. So again, you have a possibility to automatically scan for all vulnerabilities on all kinds of platforms in your environment. There is a solution, one central solution, which gives you a possibility to scan vulnerabilities on Microsoft world, Linux, Unix, database world, some server applications, active network devices, and have a one centralized holistic view to have a trends in time, to compare how the vulnerabilities in your network are changing over the time, and what is the risk calculated by existing vulnerabilities which has been found on specific systems, which has a specific business value for you. So Qualys has a possibility to do also the continuous vulnerability scanning. Some customers, like for example Visa company, was asking Qualys a few years ago, please develop the functionality to run continuous vulnerability scan. Scan which never finish. It goes on the low profile with the low speed, but goes non-stop over and over. And we were asking them, why you want continuous vulnerability scan? Because your remediation process, your patch management process will be able to react maybe in a matter of weeks, or maybe in a matter of months. Once per month, maybe you have maintenance windows. So why you want to know vulnerabilities every day? And they told us that for the very simple reason, because at least internet-facing infrastructure is already under continuous malicious scanning. You can never say, and you can never know when some automated or target attack will just knock on your door, and you want to be aware about changes of your perimeter and about vulnerabilities which suddenly were discovered on the platform which you run on the perimeter are suddenly exposed to the internet. You want to know in the same day, and if possible in the same hour, like any potential hacker and malicious code can discover from the internet. So Qualys Guard now offers continuous vulnerability scanning with special dashboards showing the differences in your perimeter, let's say fingerprint, and it offers, of course, internal scanning on databases, servers, desktops, and so on. On the 5th position, we have finally the malware defense. Many companies, many security managers still believe that the firewall and antivirus will do the work, and that's the most essential controls which you need, and nothing else is important. So here you see that malware got the 5th position. Qualys is not a malware or antivirus company, definitely not. So we can help you in some specific areas of malware defense. Like, for example, we can detect all the malware which was successfully installed in your network. So that malware which passed through your layers of defense and got infected inside your network, because we know on which ports they are listening. We understand the protocols they are using. We can discover those protocols, and we can also discover the malware which exists on your file system and in your running processes. So that's one part where we can help, and we can also help to discover malware in web applications. You know, many web applications now have hidden malware in the source code of the web applications. You know that the internet browser, internet client is becoming now very important access vector for the malware. So there are many websites infected with malware. And your not updated browser with not updated plugins will just very agilely read that code from that page and let the malware install in your network. We can discover the malware on the web application side. Application software security is the last topic which I want to describe. Again, you see, it is a higher position than firewall or other security controls and security, let's say, technologies. We know that web applications is getting now very high access vector for the data leakage. So if we look on this year and last year successful data leakage incidents, majority of them, I think it was more than 55% of successful data leakage, came through the vulnerable web applications. So the discovery of all your web applications in your network and testing them after each application change is possible. We have a customer, Microsoft again, who is scanning 3,000 web applications automatically after every update, before that updated application goes to the production. It is automated, unattended, you are reported on the changes, on the new vulnerabilities discovered. So, Qualys Guard Suite gives you possibility to manage asset inventory, software inventory, services, ports, applications, vulnerabilities, configuration, web application vulnerabilities from the one place, from the central console. You can use the shared platform, you can use your private installation, and we are coming with some new services which will be added into this suite, like web application firewall, which will automatically block access for your clients against the vulnerable web application URL addresses, which were discovered by the web application scanning software. So that's basically the main part of the SANS top 20 critical controls. Qualys Guard Security Suite will implement the majority of those high and very high controls and functionalities which are described for those controls. Qualys Guard is integrated suite, and it's my pleasure to invite you now to the connecting presentation, which will start in 15 minutes from now, just after the break. I'm happy to make it on time. So in room VIP 2 at 12 o'clock, we start practical demo session with our Hungarian partner, Projet. So thank you for your attention, and hopefully see you after break.